This is the Tuttio ICT Peak. It looks exactly like the mini moto I picture when someone says compact electric dirt bike. A chunky aluminum frame, fat 20-inch tires that mean business on dirt and street, a matte body with bright accents, a big removable battery right where a gas tank would sit, and an LCD up front showing speed, battery, and ride mode. The seat height lands in that sweet spot where average height riders won't tiptoe. The grips are wide and sticky, and the whole thing gives off an urban moto vibe with legit off-road attitude. Key features that matter to me start with the motor and battery. On paper, the motor is rated around 2000 W nominal with peaks near 4000 W, and the torque figure sits in that 170 Nm neighborhood. If you're new to torque numbers, think of it as how hard it shoves you from a stop. High torque makes launches instant and hill starts feel effortless. The battery is a 60V25Ah lithium pack, roughly 1,500 Wh of capacity. Watt-hours are basically your fuel tank, and this size sits right where serious e-motos live. That pack is sealed and removable, which I love because it lets you charge off the bike and makes long-term maintenance easier. From my experience tracking this category and comparing spec for spec, those motor and battery numbers translate to strong acceleration and practical range. With throttle-only riding at medium to high speeds, you're likely to see something in the 30-40 mile zone per charge if you ride hard. Use pedal assist in lower levels, keep speeds reasonable, and you can stretch well beyond that. Manufacturer claims often cite 75 to 100 miles with conservative riding and light assist. Results will always depend on rider weight, terrain, temperature, and how much you hammer the throttle. The way the power comes on is what defines the Tuttio ICT Peak for me. In my opinion, this sits closer to a compact electric motorcycle than a typical e-bike. Nominal versus peak power is worth a quick note. Nominal is the steady output it can do without stress, while peak is the short burst for launches and hills. With this controller and motor combo, the surge can feel twitchy at the first millimeters of throttle. That's fun once your muscle memory adapts, but it can catch new riders off guard. I prefer a smoother initial ramp, and if it were mine, I'd dial in the throttle curve through a programmable controller. Some riders go with a VESC-style unit because it lets you tune the response in an app, making slow-speed cruising and tight path riding much easier. Suspension and tires are set up for real-world use. The inverted front fork paired with an adjustable rear air shock absorbs curb hops, gravel chatter, and the random pothole that always shows up when you're not looking. The 20x4 fat tires add a stable contact patch on loose surfaces like sand and muddy turf, and they calm down the jitters on rough pavement. Hydraulic 4-piston brakes front and rear bring a ton of stopping power. If you're coming from mechanical discs or rim brakes, be gentle for the first few rides because these clamp hard. The headlight is bright and wide enough to light up the road a car length or two ahead, and the tail light doubles as a brake light, which is essential once you're moving at real motorcycle speeds. Weight-wise, the Tuttio ICT Peak is not a feather. Around 88 pounds gives it stability at speed and confidence off-road, but you'll feel that heft when threading through slow, tight turns or pushing it into a rack. Wide bars help with leverage, yet it still reminds you it's more moto than bicycle. Carrying it upstairs won't be fun, and I'd plan for garage or ground floor storage. On the flip side, that mass and geometry make it planted once you're rolling. The faster you go, the calmer it feels, which I value more than flickability for this type of ride. Charging matches the battery size. A 2A stock charger will take most of a night. Think roughly 8-10 hours from low to full, while a compatible 5A charger can trim that to around 4 hours. For daily commuting, I'd charge overnight or keep a faster charger at work. Little note for newcomers. Higher amp chargers reduce time but add heat, so stick to chargers recommended by the brand or reputable suppliers, and avoid pushing charging rates beyond what the pack is designed to handle. Ride modes give you options. Pure electric is simple, twist and go. Pedal assist blends your effort with motor power. 5 levels typically let you choose how much you want to sweat. Manual pedaling moves the bike even if the battery is out, but you're pedaling an 80-plus pound machine with moto gearing, so it's more of a backup than a daily plan. If you're just starting out, I suggest lower assist levels to build confidence before exploring higher power settings. As for speed, owners and spec sheets often cite top speeds north of 40 mph, and the chassis here feels built to handle that. I care more about how it behaves between 0-30 mph because that's where you live most of the time, pulling away from lights, merging in neighborhood traffic, or navigating trail entries. This platform's low-end shove is what makes it fun and practical. It gets you up to pace fast, which is a safety advantage when used wisely. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the chain clean and lubed, check tire pressure weekly, and give the brakes a quick look for pad wear. The layout makes it easy to swap parts, upgrade contact points, or even rework the controller and cabling if you enjoy tinkering. Weather resistance is good for light rain and puddle splash. I wouldn't send any e-moto into deep water, and I'd avoid pressure washers on bearings or electronics. The removable battery means you can charge indoors in winter or keep a spare ready if you're doing long rides. It's perfect for riders who want something between a high-powered e-bike and a small dirt bike. The range makes a typical city commute plus errands a non-issue, and the chassis is happiest when it sees mixed pavement and unpaved paths. If your trip is about 10 miles round trip with a few hills, the Tuttio ICT Peak will feel like overkill in a good way, plenty of headroom, even if you ride briskly. I'd recommend this for heavier riders who need a strong frame and motor, thrill seekers who want instant torque, and commuters who split the day between streets and dirt connectors. The claimed weight limit around 330 pounds is reassuring and opens the door for more body types to ride comfortably without stressing the bike. In my opinion, the two things to respect from day one are throttle sensitivity and brake bite. Ease into it in a lower mode. Learn how the front and rear brakes feel under hard stops, and give yourself a couple short rides to build smooth habits. If you ride a lot, consider a 5A charger for convenience, and think about controller tuning later if you want a softer throttle map. In conclusion, the Tuttio ICT Peak checks the boxes that matter: strong motor and torque, a real battery that supports meaningful range, suspension that actually works, brakes with authority, and a frame that can handle rough treatment. From my experience comparing bikes in this class, the numbers and component choices add up to an electric moto that's practical during the week and playful on weekends. If you're power curious and want a compact package that still feels serious, this is a smart pick. If this video helped, hit subscribe and drop your questions or your own ride tips in the comments. Thank you for watching.